The residents of Willow Pines nursing home had grown used to the sounds of shuffling slippers, faint televisions, and the occasional call for a nurse. But the morning officer Renee walked in with her canine partner, Max. Something changed. It started with a bark, loud, piercing, urgent. A bark that would rattle more than just windows. It would shake loose a truth that had been buried, literally, for over 10 years. Max wasn't your average German shepherd. At 6 years old, his golden brown coat shimmered under the hallway lights, his eyes alert, always watching, always calculating. He'd served in narcotics detection, search and rescue, and even helped bring closure to grieving families. But nothing had prepared him, or Officer Renee, for what they were about to uncover. It began with a smell. A strange, stale scent near the West Wing garden, where most staff assumed old pipes or decaying mulch were to blame. But Max didn't ignore it. He froze mid-walk, ears perked. Then, he growled. Renee tugged gently on the leash. "What is it, boy?" He didn't budge. Instead, Max lunged toward the base of a gnarled old oak, sniffing, then digging, frantically. Residents on their morning stroll paused. A few nurses stepped outside, curious. Max barked again, this time with force. And then, he unearthed a small piece of fabric. The administrator, Mr. Clark, a stern man with kind eyes, tried to brush it off. Dogs dig. Probably an old blanket from the garden shed. But Officer Renee trusted Maximum. She took the fabric for testing. What came back days later would stun everyone. It was part of a nurse's uniform. But more importantly, it contained traces of human blood. Old blood. Who wore this? Renee asked. Mr. Clark frowned, rubbing his temples. We've had dozens of nurses over the years. Some left. Some retired. Any go missing? That question lingered. Renee dove into old records, dusty files stored in boxes in the basement. That's when she found her, Mercer Hale. Hired in 2012. Disappeared in 2014. No resignation letter. No forwarding address. Just, gone. When questioned at the time, management claimed she left abruptly, said something about family matters. But her family hadn't heard from her since. With her heart sinking, Renee returned to Willow Pines with Max. Max returned to the tree, barking once more, even harder this time. With Clark's reluctant permission, a forensic team began excavation. What they found beneath that oak tree was horrifying. 6 feet down, wrapped in layers of plastic and garden tarp, were human remains. A badge still clung to their decaying uniform, Mercer Hale, RN. The nursing home went silent. Residents gathered in stunned disbelief. Some had known Mercer. One, an elderly woman with dementia, repeated over and over, "She was kind, she brought me flowers." But who would bury her? And why? The investigation turned inward. Interviews were conducted. Whispers began. A name surfaced repeatedly, George Lanning, the head groundskeeper from 2009 to 2015. He had worked late nights. He had keys to everything. When police visited Lanning's last known address, they found it abandoned. But Renee and Max were relentless. Following a paper trail of gas bills, cell records, and odd jobs, they located him living under a new name in a neighboring town. Arrested without incident, George initially denied everything. But when shown Max's discovery and Mercer's badge, he cracked. Tears streamed down his face as he confessed, "She found out what I was doing. Stealing the residents' medication, selling it. I begged her not to tell. But she wouldn't listen. A struggle. A fatal mistake. And in panic, he buried her beneath the oak tree she used to sit by during her breaks." Willow Pines was never the same again. In the days after the discovery, Mercer's family was finally able to lay her to rest. A memorial bench was placed under the oak, with her name engraved in gold. She cared. She protected. She never gave up. Residents began to heal. Some were moved to tears when they learned the truth. Others found courage in Max's bark, a dog's unwavering loyalty bringing justice to a woman who had been forgotten. Mr. Clark issued a public apology. Procedures changed. New safeguards were implemented. Willow Pines became a model for transparency and safety. And Max? He became a local hero. At the town hall, Max received a medal. He sat proudly beside Renee, tail wagging, as applause thundered through the crowd. Kids took photos with him. Reporters told his story. One child asked, "How did Max know she was there?" Renee smiled. "Because justice has a scent." And Max? He never stopped sniffing for it. This story isn't just about crime, or a dog with a powerful nose. It's about persistence. It's about never letting the truth stay buried, no matter how deep, no matter how many years pass. It's about heroes who walk on four legs, and the ones who never stopped doing what was right, even when no one else noticed. Max reminds us all, justice doesn't always wear a badge. Sometimes, it wears a tail and leaves paw prints. White right pointing backhand index. If this story moved you, please let us know in the comments. What would you have done in Marissa's place? Or Max's? Speech balloon. Share your thoughts below, we read every single one. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Justice on Paws, where real heroes wear fur and every bark has a purpose. Hit that like button, share this story, and help us keep shining a light on stories that matter. Because sometimes, the truth just needs a good dog to dig it up. Dogface Red Heart Hash.